Hi and welcome back to ULM X, the Universal Language Media Exchange. Today we're going to be talking about some of my favorite phrases, and they're going to be pretty similar to one another in some cases. So the distinctions will be pretty fine. And if you want to improve your German, this video is for you. If you want to improve your English, this video is for you. Obviously, the video is in English, so you already have to be able to do quite a lot with English. In the case of you learning German, you also should probably have some German under your belt, but it never hurts to start with learning sentences. I want to mention before I say the sentence that the next sentence after this will also mean the same thing. You have two sentences which are essentially synonyms, but two different ways of expressing it. So, du hast mir einen Angst eingejagt. Oder du hast mir einen Schreck eingejagt. And the way you would say this in English is either you scared me, or to be more word for word in the translation, you gave me a fright. You gave me a fright. Du hast mir einen Angst eingejagt. Maybe you're both coming around the corner at the same time in the office and you just almost walk into each other. Or suddenly show up and you think you're about to open the door and no one is there, and then someone's right behind the door and you get scared. Du hast mir einen Angst eingejagt. You gave me a fright. Alternatively, you could say, you scared me. And in German that would be, du hast mich erschreckt. Du hast mich erschreckt. Get it? Get it? In German, you would say, you understand, but you don't have to say you, necessarily. You could. But you can also just say understand, and when you say understand, you conjugate it for that second person singular. So, you understand, or you understand me. What you're saying is, you understand, get it? And in German, verstehst, verstehst. In English, you wouldn't constantly be saying that to someone. You wouldn't say verstehst, verstehst over and over again. Or you wouldn't say understand, understand, understand. You would probably say get it, get it. It's the more, it sounds more normal. It sounds more like you're a real person. If you constantly say you understand, it sounds a bit weird. It's almost like you're talking down to someone if you say understand in English. If you say understand, understand, it's like you think the person's stupid. If you say get it, that's just the way we say it. These are just totally random, by the way, guys. Just totally random. Totally random, no themes. So, it's very slippery. The thing is, the reason I want to do this is because sometimes you learn one phrase, but you don't know its synonyms. So someone will say the exact same thing to you, and you know exactly what they mean. You obviously have this idea already in your mind. You know what it means. But you've never heard it expressed that way. That's why I want to give you a duplicate. So, it's very slippery. Es ist sehr glatt. And in German, there are different ways you could say that. But glatt is the version for like ice. Although that's the second one I learned. And there are actually about 3 words you could probably use for slippery. It was kind of an icy cold day one day with my bike. I have a road bike, so I have really thin tires. And an old woman said to me, sehr glatt, sehr glatt. And I was like, what? What? And I knew one word for slippery. I think I had only known schlüpfrig, which isn't really the right word. And then there's a better one that you can also use, but glatt is really good for ice. And so I have another sentence here. It slipped away. It slipped away. Es ist weggerutscht. Rutschen is another way of sliding or slipping. So if you're slipping on dirt or some like a rocky sort of gravel, something like that, that's more like rutschen. Glatt is more for ice, kind of slippery. That's what I've sensed from the contexts that have come across my path so far. So you could also say rutschig for slippery, or glatt for slippery. Now, kind of like I'm doing this video, kind of jumping around, you could say it's jumping around, referring to whatever. Maybe you're on a computer screen and you're using probably a Microsoft Office product, and you're trying to resize a photo in Word, and it never really goes exactly where you want it to go. Something like that, would be like, es hüpft herum. Warum hüpft's so? Hupfen. It's really hop, but you could use it for something like that too. Like, why is this thing jumping all around? Warum hüpft es so? This is another one way where you could say it in English. Instead of saying jump or hop, you say skip, which is pretty similar. And when you're talking about going over something and missing it, so you have to do a row of tasks and you skip one. You skip one. In German, you'd say, ich hab's übersprungen, which means literally, I jumped over it. Jumped, in this case, is skipped. Skip, jump. So, ich habe es übersprungen, I skipped it. Oh, I skipped that one. Oh, I skipped that one. Oh no, we skipped this one. Oh, wir haben es übersprungen. Wir müssen zurückgehen. We need to go back. We skipped over that. This, it can easily happen in a list when you're going through something like this. This is something you hear, sadly, quite a lot, but we all have a lot to do, so it's pretty easy that this can happen. I just can't find time to do it, or I can't make time to do it. Kriege es nicht auf die Reihe. Ich bekomme es nicht auf die Reihe. In southern Germany, it's pretty common to say kriegen statt bekommen, instead of bekommen. Bekommen is to get. Kriegen is also to get. So, ich bekomme es nicht auf die Reihe. You hear that a lot. I mean, it happens to us all. We just can't get it done. Just can't get to that, I have to get to the post office. I just can't find time. I can't make time to go. Ich kriege es nicht auf die Reihe. Or another way you could say it is, I just never come to it in German. Ich komme nicht dazu. Ich komme nicht dazu. I just don't have time. I never get to it. Ich komme nicht dazu. And then the way you say it to put it off, I always need to put it off. I need to keep putting it off. Anytime you have a word or a combination with put, when you have a phrase with put in English, you're looking at something that might probably be a bit tricky to translate before you get a grasp of it, because put is such a verb that just gets used everywhere, has no real meaning in English, you just throw it in everywhere. But to put something off in German is to slide it, and it has a prefix which is kind of negative. So verschieben. Wir müssen den Termin verschieben. We need to put the appointment off. We need to delay the appointment. Wir müssen es verschieben. We need to put it off. We need to slide it down the calendar. Verschieben. Anything with V-A-R, V-E-R as a prefix is going to be not too good. And that's the sad thing. I'm a surveyor, and that's a vermesser. And V-A-R, V-E-R is almost always negative. When you forget, it's vergessen. When you do something really dumb, versäumt. Du hast es versäumt. V-A-R is usually not good. Wir müssen es verschieben. We need to put it off, which is usually, a form of procrastination, which is usually not good. This is a very interesting phrase because you can't really translate it word for word in English, but it's a nice one. It's called Da bin ich überfragt. Da bin ich überfragt. And what it means is, I don't know the answer to that question. You should ask someone who knows more about that topic, because that supersedes my expertise. That's what it means, but what you would say is, that I don't know. That I don't know. And what you're doing with this that at the beginning of the sentence is, you're emphasizing, you do know a lot of stuff, but this specific thing, that I don't know. But that one thing about it, you don't know. You know a lot, you know some. You at least know something about the topic, but that you don't know. So, da bin ich überfragt. Alright, this is going to be the last one, and what I've tried to do here is kind of choose some verbs that I learned relatively late, like that took me a while to really catch on to. And what I'm noticing with these verbs is a lot of them have pretty simple word phrases, word combinations in English, but for me, I thought that it took me a while to really understand what they meant by these verbs, just because a lot of them have other verbs in them, like this one. This is the last one. Das kann ich nachvollziehen. It just means I understand. but it's got this like double prefix nach voll and then a verb that you recognize to pull, ziehen. And it took me a long time to realize that's really all it means. It just means, yeah, I get that. I understand. Like where we started with, do you understand? Verstehst? Ja, das kann ich nachvollziehen. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Das kann ich nachvollziehen. So it's a bit of a bulky word, but it has a very simple English translation, and it's something that kind of, like I said with put, some of the translations are actually really simple in English. Like short words, tiny words that almost have no meaning. But within the phrase, they have this meaning. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. ULM X, Universal Language Media Exchange. If you're interested in improving your verbal English skills, check out the ULM X app in the App Store. If you use an Android device or you just want to check out the games for free, check it out on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts. Until next time, viel Grüße aus Ulm. Bye!